Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff, wind howling in your ears, heart pounding, and knowing the machinery beneath you might just crumble. That's where Denny Hamlin finds himself right now. What NASCAR just leaked about his final championship chances? It's insane, and I mean that. Because for a driver of his caliber, his final shot feels less like a victory lap and more like a sprint through a minefield. Hamlin, pilot of the number 11 at Joe Gibbs Racing, has been fighting mechanical gremlins all season, but this is the playoffs. This is do or die. On the latest Actions Detrimental podcast, he laid it bare. It blew up. The engine went boom. That wasn't some figure of speech. That was truth. The car didn't just struggle, it exploded under his foot. Earlier, he couldn't even start the car without a push from pit road. Again. My first concern is, will my car start? He said. Think about that. A champion's worry isn't whether he can win, it's whether the engine will fire. This is no one-off. Hamlin admitted it himself. Over the half the playoff races, I have had mechanical failures. So, like 5 of the 9, I have had major mechanical failures. The ones we haven't, we won. That's the good news. 5 out of 9. That's more than half his elimination round starts this year have been wrecked by gear, wires, pistons, not other drivers. It's like he's winning a war then getting blown up before the victory party. But there's more. Owner and coach Joe Gibbs confirmed on SiriusXM that they traced the latest disaster back to a bad batch of valve springs. Valve springs, tiny parts, critical parts. They come in batches, and when a bad batch hits your engine, game over. Gibbs said, anytime you have a motor issue, we have those parts, and anytime you have valve spring issues, they come in batches, and we think we have that covered. But wait, the issues aren't just valve springs, they're starters. Power steering, stuck throttles, pieces failing when the stakes are highest. Hamlin's take? I'm obviously concerned, but there's obviously nothing I can do about it. We'll bring our best. Hopefully it lasts. Confident, yes, but also powerless. The driver shaking his head at machines he can't control. Gibbs' take? On the technical front, what we do, we got a great group of technical people here. They're perfectionists. But even perfectionists can't be perfect when the parts arrive flawed. He added, what did cause? Don't miss that. Translation, we found the fault. But the question lingers. Will fixing it in time be enough? Hamlin then, under the bright lights of elimination weekend, said, my first concern is, will my car start? We can't worry about it all week. We're going to cross our fingers and hope the car sees the finish line. Crossing fingers, hoping. That's not the mindset of someone who expects to win. That's the mindset of someone fearing the machine fails before the checkered flag. Let's be very clear. This could be Hamlin's last shot. He's been chasing the championship for 2 decades. He knows the car, the team, the pressure. But this year, his own equipment is betraying him. And the leak? The leak is that the team knows the parts have been bad. That there's a quality control problem deep in the engine shop. Gibbs admitted, we feel like we ended up in a good position, and it doesn't come back to us this next week in Phoenix. Phoenix, the big dance, all or nothing. Here's the scene. Hamlin straps in, the roar of engines, the smell of rubber, the crowd. Yet inside, he's wondering, will it fire? Will the throttle stick? Will the valve spring snap? His legacy, his dream, his final gamble, all hang on hardware. Not just horsepower, but reliability. And when you're counting on machines, you're always one broken part away from disaster. The team says they've made the fixes. The valve springs are swapped. The starter systems have been rechecked. Toyota's top engineers laid all the broken pieces out on the table, literally, and said, this ends here. That's what Coach Gibbs explained. So this morning what we did, we got all the parts. We laid them out, we had a full discussion on where we are, what happened. That's the first thing. Sounds good on paper. But racing doesn't happen on paper. It happens at 200 miles an hour with no second chances. The problem is, these issues haven't just been random. They've been a pattern, a ticking time bomb that's already gone off too many times. Power steering failures? Check. Starter motor dying before qualifying? Check. And now, a bad batch of engine parts that can nuke a race in seconds. That's what took Hamlin out at Martinsville. "We've all got the parts out, looked at everything," he said. "I think issues with the motors are always concerning. You never want that to happen." It's more than concerning. It's terrifying. Especially when you've been chasing one thing your whole career. And that one thing keeps slipping because of something you can't even control. Hamlin doesn't need more speed. He needs survival. He needs the bolts to hold. He needs the engine to breathe and not blow. Now the team says, "We're good." Gibbs put it like this: "We kind of have understood where we are and what those parts were and have made adjustments, for sure. Really, those parts will not be in the cars for this weekend, so we feel good about that." But feeling good is not the same as being bulletproof. The Toyota Racing Development Crew, those perfectionists, have taken the reins. They've rebuilt, rechecked, re-everything. But let me ask you, can you trust a rebuild this late in the game? Phoenix is days away. The stress cracks in that team have already shown. The nerves, the sleepless nights, the what-ifs, they're all real. Gibbs even admitted, it makes them nervous, because they're perfectionists. And here's the brutal truth. This is no longer just about Denny Hamlin trying to win. This is about Denny Hamlin trying to not break. Literally. Because if something pops off under the hood, if the engine flames out or the throttle locks again, there will be no next week. There will be no redemption arc. Just a long, bitter off-season thinking about what could have been. That's why this leak isn't just a technical update. It's a full-blown warning siren. NASCAR fans, insiders, and rival teams are now all watching to see, will the numbered 11 even make it to lap 100? Or will it be another blown chance, both figuratively and mechanically? Hamlin's putting on a brave face. "I'm confident this week. I'm not in a negative headspace. Everything is going to be fine," he said. But that confidence is sitting on top of weeks of frustration. Underneath, he's just a man hoping his dream car doesn't become a coffin of broken parts. And if he doesn't make it, if it blows up again in Phoenix, then what? How do we remember Denny Hamlin? As the guy who fought hard but always fell just short? Or the guy who could've, should've, but never got the machine to match the man? So, what happens Sunday could be legendary. Or it could be catastrophic. All because of a few ounces of faulty metal inside a 750 horsepower beast. Now it's your turn. Do you think Denny's finally got the car to match his championship drive? Or is NASCAR's leak just the first crack in a complete collapse? Let me know what you think. Is this the year Hamlin breaks the curse? Or do the racing gods have one more heartbreak left in store?